Everybody argues about striker fired versus hammer fired, but most people couldn't explain the difference if you pay them in ammo. So let me break this down using real FN pistols because I promise you, it's way simpler than the internet makes it. Half the gun world is out here yelling striker fired for life, like it's a personality type, while the other half is clutching their hammer fired guns like vinyl records. But here's what nobody tells you. The action has nothing to do with recoil, caliber, or how deadly the gun is. It's literally just the mechanism that makes the gun fire when you pull the trigger. This FN 509, a striker fired gun. There's no hammer, there's no external moving parts. Pull the trigger, the striker drops, pew, done. It's the iPhone of gun actions. It's clean, it's simple, and very consistent. Then there's the FN 57, which is single action only. It has a hammer, but it's hidden on the inside. When you rack it, the hammer cocks. When you pull the trigger, it releases. Think of it like a sports car. Then there's the FNX 45 Tactical, which is double action, single action. The first pull is long and heavy. Every pull after that is short and smooth. It's like Kanye West, unpredictable at first, but you get used to it once you understand he's just crazy.
Case in point.
And then we get the strange little genius of the group, the FN Reflex. It uses an internal hammer system that feels like a striker fire, but it isn't. FN basically said, yeah, we're breaking the rules today. It's a tiny gun with a surprisingly good trigger.
Surprise, motherfucker.
So those are the big four action types you actually are gonna see in real life. But if you think that explains the whole story, you haven't seen what these actions mean once you start shooting them side by side. That's where things really get interesting. Now that the short form TikTok friendly version of this is out of the way, let's get into why these actions exist and why you might prefer one over another, especially if you're new or you've just never had anyone explain it without sounding like a walking Reddit thread. Striker fire actions like this one, the 509, uses a spring-loaded firing pin instead of a hammer. In practical terms, that means consistency. Every trigger pull feels exactly the same. There's no first shot versus second shot drama and no manual cocking. Like I said before, just pull, pew, repeat. This is why almost every major police department uses striker fire pistols. They're simple and they're consistent. The 5.7 though is pure single action only energy. The hammer is internal, so you don't see anything, but you can feel the difference in the trigger. It's clean and crisp because the hammer is already cocked and ready to go. It's the FN equivalent of a performance scoop. And because it's single action only, the pull is consistent, but slightly tuned, almost like a light switch snapping on. A lot of people don't even realize the FN 5.7 is single action. They think it's some kind of weird striker hybrid, but nope, it's a hammer gun wearing skinny jeans. The FNX 45 Tactical is where things get a little spicy. Double action, single action means the first trigger pull is long and heavy because you're cocking the hammer with your finger. After that, once the slide cycles, the hammer is cocked automatically and the trigger becomes short and light. Some shooters like having that long first pull as a built-in safety, followed by that smooth, easy follow-up shot. It's the handgun equivalent of a mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. Now, before you finish watching this video, I want to quickly talk about the hearing protection that I'm wearing in this video. These are the AKT1 Blackout wireless in-ear hearing protection with Bluetooth. I like to call them the AirPods for shooters. I say for shooters because AirPods don't protect your hearing, but these do. They are hands down my favorite in-ear hearing protection that I've ever used, and I mean ever. They have an NR 25 dB auto noise blocking. They can enhance your hearing by 6 times. They have advanced noise cancellation, Bluetooth connectivity with high fidelity speakers so you can take phone calls and listen to music. They have a battery life of 10 hours with an additional 30 hours in a charging case, and they're low profile and stylish enough to fit in not only at the gun range, but in your gym, while you're studying, working, at school, at home, you name it. I'm in love with these things, and now they're finally available on my store at shop.mrcolionnoir.com, or you can just click the link in the description section of this video. Then there's the FNX Reflex. FN broke the mold here. It's technically hammer fired, but it behaves like a striker fired gun. You see, the hammer is internal and pre-cocked, giving the trigger a surprisingly light and crisp break for such a small gun. It's like FN made a tiny carry gun with a trigger from a much bigger gun and didn't bother explaining why. I call it the striker fired gun for people who secretly want a hammer. Now there's another action and it's called double action only. You see, I don't own one and I'm not gonna pretend like I do. Double action only triggers have their place. Brutal consistency, safety, a simple manual of arms, but unless you're buying a 90s law enforcement contract gun or something your uncle carried as a cop, you're probably not going to run into one, at least not in the modern FN lineup. So here's a real takeaway. Striker fired means consistency and simplicity. Single action only means performance and precision. Double action, single action gives you versatility and control. Hybrid internal hammer gives you a tiny gun with a bigger trigger feel, and a double action only exists somewhere. Probably in a museum or a police department basement. FN just happens to make some of the best examples of each system. So the next time someone asks what action your pistol uses, you don't have to shrug and say, normal? Now you actually know the difference.